We're setting time together with you to be a part of this event, and we were learning about things that you accomplished in your 30s and in your 40s. Who was Kim Dolan Leto in her 20s?
Kim Dolan Leto was someone striving for all the wrong things. I wanted the American dream. I thought, if I make the outside look good, if I have the right career, if I have the right clothes, and if I look a certain way, then I'll be happy. But I got saved when I was 27, and God showed me that all of that stuff is just senseless idols, and only He can fulfill you and satisfy you. So before I was saved in my 20s, I was someone who was just on that fast track for corporate life and thinking that would satisfy, and it never did. I was overweight. I never worked out. I didn't take care of myself. I was the antithesis of who I am today.
What was that clicking moment? Because you were mentioning your dad.
My dad.
That was the whole thing that said, this is
Yes.
it. I'm going to do something here.
My dad loved the Lord, and I wish he was alive still, and he saved so many people. But seeing him in a hospital bed, seeing your parent in a hospital bed, half paralyzed when they were only 47, it changed everything. I drew a line in the sand that day, and I said, God, I know you have work for me to do, and if there's anything I can do to own my part in my health today, please convict me, show me. Because I want to do it with him. Anything I've done without him has just failed miserably. And that's why I think he is the missing component in this whole fitness thing. When you don't have him, it just becomes about a vanity project, and it shouldn't be. It should be about being on a mission for the Great Commission. Amen?
What was your relationship with your dad throughout the years?
My dad and I had a horrible time growing up. He was, a drinker, and he was abusive. He was very young, and I say this out of nothing but respect for him, but I had an abusive childhood, and it created a tape in my mind that said, you're not good enough, you're a failure. And I know that's what made me become overweight. I felt really bad about who I was, and I never felt good enough. But when I met Jesus in the scriptures, that turned everything around. And my dad went on to get saved, and my parents were actually the ones that gave me a Bible, and we started going to church together. So God even turned that whole thing around and saved our relationship. So when he passed away, we had years together to undo the old thing. Like God says, he makes everything new.
Why was that important to you?
Because this time here is so short, and God says to honor your parents. And I know that's hard. Like, sometimes if you've had an abusive childhood or whatnot, but if we honor God and his word, I believe he makes all things new.
You talk about food a lot.
Yes.
I mean, there's processed food, and there's all this other
I
stuff.
like to eat.
Yeah, don't we all? Everybody likes
Yes.
to eat. I like to eat too, but I've got to watch it. I'm turning to celery sticks more often than the chips, because I love chips way too
I know.
much.
You can just mindlessly eat a whole bag. It's like, that's what I was saying. Man-made food never satisfies. It's when you eat God-made food, only God's satisfied. He made the foods that our body will thrive with. And like I said, it's not about perfection. That doesn't mean you can't ever eat chips. But do you need to eat the whole bag? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. And I like to eat the whole bag, and I got to stay away from it. But it's funny because you had mentioned like an apple. An apple tastes great. It's
Yes.
good, but you don't like, okay, I have to have 20 of these things.
I know. You're never going to eat 20 apples. And I love how Jim Gaffigan, he's so funny, he said, fruit just takes work. Like, you got to peel it and cut it. And I'm like, come on, just get a chopper. It'll take 1 second.
Yeah, you get a juicer now and just
Yeah.
and drink the whole thing down. Mm-hmm. What's your relationship like with your family?
Oh, I have a great relationship with my family. I am so blessed to say that my entire family is saved. They're all Christians. They all love Jesus. And I have 3 brothers, a sister, and my mom. My dad passed away at 61. He had, just to let you know, he had the stroke at 47, a kidney transplant in his 50s. My brother gave him a kidney. He had a quadruple bypass in his 50s, and then he had a massive heart attack and died at 61. So watching all of that is why I'm here today. I'm honoring his life to kind of just say, like, because my dad went through that, if I can help parents live longer, to be around longer for their kids, like, to me, that's what health and fitness is. Health and fitness isn't bikini bodies strolling down the beach. It's like, I want to meet my grandchildren one day.
You don't hide the fact that you're 47.
No, I don't, not at all.
Your dad was 47 when a stroke happened.
Yeah, I thank God every year that I age and I smile that I get to put another candle on the cake.
Were there any feelings, emotions? I mean, it's your birthday, you turned 47, and it's like, yeah, this happened to my dad, the stroke.
It really did kind of mess with me because I was speaking at a church and I had to actually drive by where I had spread his ashes, and it hit me, but it showed me that, death is certain, death is very real, but this life is short. I know where I'm going and I know where he is. So I'm going to spend eternity with him. So I want to use my life. Like, I love this Lecrae song says, don't waste your life. And so my dad's death to me is always a reminder to live life on purpose. They're smiling because they know that Lecrae song. You got to live your life on purpose, and God has a purpose and a plan for you. So while I'm here, to whatever age, I just want to use my life to glorify him, and my dad really taught me that.
We're a couple of minutes away from your questions, so if
Okay.
you have one, and I know there's so many that are coming in, just use that box that says Ask Questions. Click on that, leave your name, leave where you're from, and then we'll start asking away. And again, if we don't get to your question immediately, there's a time that we'll have with a full panel after 12 o'clock today that we'll be able to ask your question at that time. You have a beautiful family.
Thank you.
You said at 38 years old, I had my daughter.
I know my daughter, can I just brag for a minute? My sweet 8-year-old won the Christian Character Award and the Physical Fitness Award. Yay! I mean, she's amazing. She just, like I said, she just makes me want to be better. And it's amazing to me because I never thought I would have a child. And my husband and I kind of went through some struggles to have her. So she's just, oh my gosh, I always say she's my second favorite gift. Jesus is my first favorite gift from God, and she's my second. But I have to say she's my first or I'll get in trouble with her, right? And my husband is amazing. We've been married. Oh my gosh, we got together in 99. We married in 2001. And he has been, when I said I wanted to write a book about faith and fitness, everyone said, no one's going to buy that. Why don't you write the Hot Over 40 book or, another get quick fix or get, whatever quick thing. But my husband was the one that was like, let's do this. Like I said, I don't care if it only helps one person. That one person makes it worth it.
How's your family involved in the whole fitness journey?
They support me completely, and they all live like I do. They're amazing. We all kind of struggle with our weight. I tease and I say it's because I've got a Latin gene in me. My mother is Latin, so I always use that kind of as an excuse. But everyone's on board. We've learned how to make all those family favorite dishes a little healthier, and it's great. I mean, it's not about suffering. It's not about, eating rabbit food to look good. It's about making little tweaks here and there. And so my family's on board, and it's great.
Sally is in Greenville, North Carolina, and she said, what should I eat and should I count calories?
Thank you for your question, Sally. I think that counting calories I think it's good for 1 week of your life to count all the calories that you eat and measure all your food, just so you have an understanding of what you're eating. If you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there, right? But after that, after you kind of know, I would use a hand chart, and I have a hand chart that I teach that's like, your palm of your hand is a serving of protein, your fist is a serving of carbs. You should be able to look at your plate and know what is big enough. And God made our body. He gave us our hands. So it's like a perfect guide, because if you're a man, your hands are bigger, women's hands are smaller, so it all works. And I would tell her that she should eat God-made food as much as she can. Any whole God-made food is going to be better than anything that man makes every time.
Here's Samuel. He's in Haines City. He said, I'm probably in the best shape of my life, but when it comes to eating well, it is hard. What is the best way to keep fitness and diet complementing each other?
Well, I think the best way, if you want to be in good shape, you know this as an endurance athlete, is to fuel your body. I'm sure he might be in the best shape of his life, but what's his energy like? How do you feel? So I would ask him to think about just trying to eat more God-made foods and see how much better your body thrives and works in that environment versus having that, if his diet isn't healthy, he'll be amazed how much better he'll feel when it is.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing to really come to, though, because you have to balance that whole thing out.
Yes, but only God can do that. And I would tell every person on here, he needs to be in the mix. So Samuelson, I hope that God is in your fitness. I hope you're listening to Christian music while you're working out and getting in the Word every day.
Now, one thing I thought was very inspiring to me is that you said to me earlier, I had to get my music saved.
I did. Oh, I was running one day and I said, you are a saved child of God and you are listening to, and I'm not even going to say the name because I don't want to be mean, but it was not, I love hip hop, okay, I'll just say it right now. And so when you're working out, you want like this really fast, good music. And so I was like, I am a saved child of God. I ripped the headphones out of my ear. I went home. I Googled, I was like, who are the best Christian hip hop artists? Like, give me all the great workout music. And so now I actually have free Spotify playlists that are all Christian music, because we need to watch what we're being fed every day. We need to guard our hearts and our minds, because the enemy, that will give you can't go to church on Sunday and listen to that vulgar rap music all week long. So I had to get my music saved, and I share that because I think it's hilarious. God works on it. We're not perfect. Jesus is perfect, right? So he just kind of saves little pieces of our lives. I've invited him into my kitchen. I invited him into my excuses, and then he had to save my rap music. Who knows what's next, right?
Okay, so Casting Crowns and Matthew West and Jeremy Camp and other artists are good to do, probably Pilates and stretching too.
Right.
So you said Lecrae.
Right.
Name a few others.
Oh, okay, so Andy Mineo, You Can't Stop Me. I love Von Juan, like Valhaligan Walwyn. He's actually a personal friend. He sings a song called I Choose. I just did a Fit and Fearless Through Faith women's conference with him. I mean, there are so many. I can't even, there's this one song called Murder My Flesh. Please forgive me for not remembering who it is. But it's like, gotta murder it, you gotta murder it. And I love that song because the beat is so fast. And it's like, this is not about what I look. This is about thriving in my temple for the use of God. So go look at my playlist on Spotify. It's free, and that will give you all my favorite artists.
Crystal's in Monk's Corner, South Carolina. She says, why do you think the message of health is not commonly taught in church?
I think because health is so easily pigeonholed as vanity, but health isn't vanity if it's done with Christ. It's like saying, why would you do finances in church? Because finances is just all about getting rich. That's not the point. It's that everything, Matthew 6:33 says, seek God first. I think we're supposed to seek him first in every part of our life, because the parts we leave him out of fail. So I think the thing is there's just a misunderstanding. I wrote an article for Relevant recently that it says, why isn't it taught more? And that's why I'm here. I mean, fitness is my witness, and I'm on a mission for the Great Commission. I'm going to keep talking about this because I know the pain that when you do it in the world's way, and you hate the way you look, and you want to hide your body, and you don't feel good about yourself, even when you're at your physical best. And it's because it's in the flesh. It's got to be in the spirit. So I'm hoping that with the grace of God, I mean, look at today. Who knew that this would happen? You have no idea how much it means to me that God would open this door and give me the chance to talk about faith and fitness. So hopefully we'll see more and more of it.
Absolutely. Jesse's in Georgia. She says, I hear some say that you should eat a lot of good fats, and some say you should eat only 10% of the total of calories and fat. What do you recommend?
I think you should eat some good fat with some of your meals. And I know that sounds like a ridiculous answer, but eat some olive oil instead of packaged man-made salad dressing. Eat an avocado, eat some nuts. I mean, when you eat like that, you can't really overeat. It's when you have a stick of butter on your toast or a pile of cheese on your nachos, So it's the kind of fat. God's fats are good for you, right? So it's like, it almost like kind of auto-corrects itself when you eat his food. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. When I started my journey 10 years ago, because I was over 300 pounds, I stripped everything. There was no chips, there was no ice cream,
Right.
There was nothing. And then it was like 5 years later, I was able to sustain that. And 5 years later, it's like, I miss my Doritos, and I miss my Oreo cookie ice cream. You know what I mean? I miss that kind of stuff. And then I
Right.
realized it's okay in portion control
Right.
and in moderation. You don't have to deprive yourself. Just
No.
don't overdo the whole thing.
Don't eat out of bags, boxes, pans, cans. There's nothing wrong with putting a portion of something on a plate and eating it. But getting the tub of ice cream and sitting on the couch come on. We all know how comforting that feels, but it's mindless. And we shouldn't be eating mindlessly. We shouldn't be doing anything mindlessly. We're supposed to be living on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you have the bag of bag of chips in front of you, or the tub of ice cream in front of
Right.
you, it's like, okay, I'm just going to have one more.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to have one more.
And that's such a lie of the devil. I mean, any sin that we're involved in, one more, we all know there is no one more, right? So that we need to surrender appetite faithfully every day, whatever your appetite is for. Remember that acronym SAFE, because you are safe in your Savior's arms. Surrender appetite faithfully every day.
Here's Cynthia in Greenville. She said, Kim, wow, I needed this. I have back problems, lower back damage, nerves in the left leg. I've been through back surgery, and so I want to eat right and exercise. Is there an exercise program for someone like me?
I would say, Cynthia, if there's anything, I can't really give her advice because I'm not her doctor, but I know a lot of people in this situation, and what they do is they swim. They start swimming and strengthen their body. So I don't know what her doctor says or what she's been prescribed to do, but she can start eating God-made foods. She can start walking, because getting weight off, you won't have the same back pain. So if she can walk and she can eat, I mean, you can eat right. Those two things will make a big difference in her life.
Yeah, because eating's like 75 to 80% of the whole battle, right?
Yes, did you know that? What you look like is 80% what you eat. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't work out, because we want to take care of our heart, and working out gives you so much energy and mental clarity, but 80% of what your body looks like comes from the food that you put into it.
We have time for just a couple of more questions, and they're pouring in right on the website with the Ask Question button when you leave your name and your location where you are. If we don't get to your question, we'll do our best when we have the whole panel back after 12 noon today during our live sessions of Inspired 2016. This is Christy. She's in Candler, North Carolina. How would you encourage someone who is considered obese to begin exercising, knowing that they might not last through an entire Zumba class or a spin class?
I would tell Christy to rock her Godfidence, and if she can only do 4 minutes of a class, that's good enough. Start somewhere. Start with God. Feel good about yourself. If you want to, work out at home. Like I always say, kick that couch out of the way. Put YouTube videos on. You have so much available to you that you can just get started. And I call it small wins. Make a small win every day. Just make one good decision you wouldn't normally do, and know that you are not the number on the scale. You are so much more than that.
Here's Melanie. She's in North Augusta. She says, do you find that an hour of fitness and time with God is better in the AM or PM, like in the morning or the afternoon? And does it really just depend on me?
I would tell Melanie, for me, because I'm a mom and I work, getting it done in the morning is really the only time I have, because, oh my gosh, by the end of the day, it's like there's 10 million things that came up that I had no idea were going to happen. So I get up early before everyone else. I spend my time with God. I work out. And then I am like, it's my coffee. I don't drink coffee. So working out and spending time with God in the morning, that is like how I am able to get it in every day. And that is the glue that holds me together, is that time with Him, and that time just getting my heart rate up. And it's amazing, the life-changing difference that it brings. So whatever works best for you, treat your workout, treat your time with God like an appointment, and get that Fit Power Hour in.
Thank you so much for your questions. If we
Thank you.
did not get to yours, afternoon today, the whole panel is going to be back up here, along with Linda Morrison, and we'll be able to get to your question at that time. So you can keep them coming in through Inspire 2016, faith and fitness event right here online today. Now, be sure to take advantage of Kim's Faith Inspired Transformation 30-Day Challenge. You'll actually be able to access that right through this website's homepage. We'll link right off to Kim. That's going to be an amazing experience. I'm so looking forward to that. We're all going to take advantage of that, right? On-demand sessions are available after 1 o'clock, so you'll be able to access them after 1 Eastern Time and have them for a complete 90 days, so take advantage of that as well. And today, again, you can ask the questions. So as you're watching this, there's a button. It simply says, Ask Questions. So you click on that, leave your name and location when you ask your question. Coming up from the Kendrick brothers, you know the movie Fireproof and Courageous, and the recent one, War Room. I've got my DVD and Blu-ray already at home and watched it several times. Love that movie. Stephen Kendrick is the producer of that movie. He is going to be here. That's coming up in 3 minutes.
This world can be